Because the full moon in Gemini kind of reminds me of the Ten of Swords in tarot. It's like you know everything that you already know in your current environment and with your current circumstances. But you understand that there's more and that there's a new journey that is unfolding for you. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to this full moon in Gemini horoscope. We're going to go ahead and begin here, and I will go through the charts here in a moment, but just a broad overview of what I'm feeling like this full moon is illuminating for us is with the sun being in Sag and Mars being in Sag and Mercury being in Sag, stellium of Sagittarius energy. Sag is all about the adventure. So we're all beginning a new adventure here in our lives. And it's interesting because the full moon in Gemini kind of reminds me of the Ten of Swords in tarot. It's like you know everything that you already know in your current environment and with your current circumstances. But you understand that there's more and that there's a new journey that is unfolding for you. And with the sun and Mars that made its conjunction, and they're still conjunct here with this full moon, 2 degrees apart about, this is really about like an initiation, initiating ourselves into some form of a new journey, some form of a new adventure. Sagittarius rules more lofty ideals, right? If you think about Sagittarius, it's the archer. It kind of aims and it aims far. But this one's quite confusing, I would say, here with this full moon, because we are going to be having Mercury that's in Sagittarius, square Neptune that's in Pisces. And so it feels, and it's going to be quite confusing with this lunation, full moon in Gemini. But we can see the light that's in the horizon. It's interesting about the Ten of Swords is like he knows his journey has come to its end, right? And he understands, though, what gives him hope and what inspires him and what gives him faith, faith being Sagittarius, is that there's light in the horizon, right? And it's the destination on the horizon where the light is, to where that's where he knows he needs to go. And so we can all see the light of where it is that we are wanting to go, or where it is that we're aiming to go. However, with this Mercury square Neptune, it's like a bunch of fog that we're having to navigate through, because Neptune can kind of rule fog, confusion, just overall, just like not like distortion. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember like MapQuest, how we used to like print out directions. It's kind of like the directions have been printed out, but they're all, the ink has been smeared on all of it. And so it's very difficult to read the directions. But it's like, do we really need the direction, right? Do we really need the directions? Because we can see the light, we know where to go. It's just about navigating the fog and the confusion a bit and kind of the distortion a bit, right? Until Mercury comes off of Neptune. And it's kind of like the static goes away, right? It's kind of like when you're tuning a radio station, you're just trying to find the right frequency, right? But you're already on the wavelength to the future, and you're already on that wavelength that is taking you to the light that's in the distance, in the horizon of where your destination is. But it's about the journey that is unfolding here for you. And there's a lot about fate here with this one, with this lunation cycle as well, because Mercury and Sag is making its trine to the North Node in Aries. And Aries deals with, well, let's just back up. The nodes are fate and destiny points. They're the polarity of change as well. And so Aries deals with self-definition, and it also deals with self-determination, bravery, strength, courage, independence. And so it's about being brave. It's about understanding, yes, it's confusing. Yes, it feels foggy, but we're brave enough to walk through the fog, to walk through the confusion, because we can see the light, and it's the light that is our guiding force, right? It's the light that is our North Star of where we're trying to go, the destination that's on the horizon, and it's the journey unfolding here for us. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into the chart here and look at the full moon chart. It's interesting because I did this video and it was so fucking beautiful, right? I was in like a very poetic flow, and then I realized like my mic was laying on the table, and so it didn't even record the audio, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? That's kind of like a Mercury square Neptune thing, although that's not direct yet, or that's not exact yet, but it's kind of like, you know, you just kind of just forget something, or like you realize like, oh shit, hold on, You know what I mean? There's something I gotta fix this first or whatever, but I still know what I'm doing here. You get it? So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump in here, and let's take a look at this. Take a look at this chart here. But first, let me kind of throw up this really quickly, so you all can see. Actually, let me do that. All right. Here we go. There's the chart. So it's just funny. It's like I could sit here and be frustrated about it, but I'm just like, whatever, you know, like it's the divine plan. So let's take a look here. So here we have it. We have this full moon in Gemini at 4 degrees, as you can see, as I'm highlighting, and it's going to be making the opposition, right, to the sun, which is a full moon at 4 degrees of Sag. And you can see here Mars is right here with the sun, 2 degrees apart. And so Mars conjuncting the sun, or Mars is going to conjunct the sun, but by the time but on the day of the full moon, it has already conjuncted. Or sorry, the sun has already conjuncted. Well, the conjunction is going on, basically. And so what is Sun-Mars conjunct? It's an initiating energy. It's a very determined, let's go, I'm ready, I want to take action, I'm confident, I'm positive, I'm optimistic, I'm ready to go on the journey, I'm ready to go on the adventure, I'm ready to become more, I'm ready to tap into a more broader sense of awareness and journey, right? And so this can trickle down and translate into Sagittarius things like learning, educating yourself. Maybe some of you are starting to learn newer things. Maybe you're taking courses. Maybe you're wanting to actually use your knowledge that you already know to teach others and guide others. Sag rules like gurus and teachers, guides, right? Sag rules guides. And so there's an initiating energy. Sun Mars is like guns blazing, let's go. I want to go. I'm ready to go. The iron's hot. I'm striking. Let's go. Right? And we just, Mars has now started to come off its square to Saturn, right? And so it's interesting, when I'm doing this video today, actually Mars is squaring Saturn. And so Mars square Saturn is like, hold on, you can't take action or initiative because there is some form of restriction that you're feeling with Saturn and Pisces. And Pisces deals with introspection, right? Yes, Pisces deals with like dreamy, fantasy, all that stuff, but Pisces is much more than that. It deals with introspection. It deals with the deepening of awareness and the deepening of knowledge. And so, yeah, we're ready to take action and go on the adventure, but that square to Saturn is like, hold on, maybe we need to do a little bit more introspection just so we can understand like what this invisible force field is in front of us at this time that is giving us some form of restriction. And then once we address that, then we can take the initiative of Mars, right? And so this is again about the journey that we're all ready to take. And this is again with this full moon in Gemini, 10 of Swords energy, understanding that there's a new journey that is unfolding and it's time to go on the adventure. That everything right now in your current environment, everything that you know at this time, we're understanding there's more. There's more to explore, there's more to learn, and there's more of an adventure that's happening. And here we go, we have Mercury in Sagittarius squaring Neptune and Pisces at 24 degrees. And this is what I was talking about, like the fog, right? Because Mercury deals with the intellect, right? Which governs communication, the processing of information, understanding and articulating, right? But it's square to Neptune. Like Neptune is like the fog. It's like Neptune is bringing a distortion, a bit of confusion. And so that's what I was saying, like, with the map quest, right? Like the directions, like we printed the directions, but they're all smeared. We're just like, what the fuck? And then we understand through wisdom and a higher mind that we can use the directions as best as we can, but ultimately we see the light in the horizon in the distance. And so we know where to go. We just have to follow the light that's on the horizon, move toward it. And so this is quite an adventurous energy when you put Mercury square Neptune together, because I've heard it a lot with other astrologers that like Neptune is like a circus, right? It can rule like circuses and just like weird things, or just like confusing things, just like things you really wouldn't expect that are confusing or just quite kind of out there, right? And it can bring a form of confusion trying to understand it. And so if we're going to solely focus on using the intellect to advance with our sense of purpose, Sun and Mars, it's going to be quite confusing. It's like, yes, we use our intellect as best as we can. Of course, we be optimistic and we follow, guidance, right? But with that square, it's about understanding as well. It's like there's a flow and there's a fluidness that must be adapted as well, because it's the flow and the fluidness and also the sense of direction as well that is ultimately going to get us there anyways, right? Because it really doesn't matter. We can see the light in the horizon. We're just going on the adventure. It could just be confusing, foggy, you name it, distorted. And so Mercury too, when it comes to our mind and our intellect, there is a sense of an intuitive, especially if you want to throw in what we just talked about, there is a sense of intuitiveness of our destiny, right? Because the North Node being in Aries at 24, Mercury's at 24. That's a trine to the North Node in Aries. And like I said, Aries deals with your definition of self, deals with initiative, action. Also, Aries deals with adventure a lot too. But it deals with bravery, strength, and courage, and self-determination to follow our souls and our intuition. And although it's going to be confusing, and maybe our intuition, maybe our intuitive faculties are a little bit distorted, it's just, again, like we see the light on the horizon, and that's where we're moving toward regardless. But what you don't want to do here, because if Mercury's making a trine to the North Node, it's also going to be making a sextile to the South Node, right, in Libra, which Venus is in Libra here, pretty close to that South Node. And the South Node is kind of like a drain. It's like a releasing energy, right? South Node is like understanding what the obstacles in our way is, and it's through understanding and articulating those obstacles that we know how to improve. And the North Node is about the actions and the things that we do to go about those improvements. And so Venus, deals with relationships, cooperation. It deals with our values. Now Venus likes Libra. It's his dignified home. So there's a lot about relationships with this one. But it's also like your relationship to things, right? It could be anything, people, places, things. And so you don't want to compromise your values and not go on the adventure that your soul is wanting you to take with that North Node in Aries. Like going on the adventure that is for you, not what everybody else expects of you, or not what everybody else wants of you, or not what you feel like you need to stay attached to, or what you need to stay what you need to stay attached to. And the right relationships are here for you as well, I would say, here with this Venus in Libra. And so it's just about, there's certain attachments that you have that are good, and there's certain ones that are going to be holding you back from your overall freedom of direction of destiny with the North Node in Aries. Right, and so this is really about you, and the right relationships will support you. The right things will support you. It could even be in regards to work and stuff like that. It could be in regards to your career. It could be anything that you have a form of attachment to, right? And you have to be fair to yourself, right? You can't compromise, right? Your values and what's true for you to please other people, or to not upset other people, or, you know what I mean? So, you have to step into more so of your independence here. And also too, it's like the South Node and Venus is, it's interesting because when you think about Sag, like I was saying, it rules teachers and guides, right? And so it's almost as if this Venus here in the South Node of Libra, it's like teacher-student, right? You've been the student, right? Because Gemini is also the student, and Sag is the teacher. The full moon is a form of release and a let go, a conscious illumination of what needs to be released. So new forms and new structures can go about being built. And so it's like the teacher and the student, the guru and the student. It's like you're ready now. It's like you don't have to stay in the classroom anymore. You've learned what you needed to learn, and now it's time to take what you've known, or take what you know, take what you've learned, and to go out on your own on the journey of life. Go out and make it happen. Go out and go on the adventure. And so I feel like that also connects here with Venus too, with the South Node, is like, you don't have to rely on the teacher anymore, the guru anymore. The guru kind of has done its job, right? And so you don't need that relationship anymore, right? Of course, there'll always be your teacher and your guide and your guru, right? That you could always get advice from, but it's like, now it's time for you to take what you've learned and go on your journey. And it reminds me too, like, of the Hermit card in tarot, right? Because it's interesting, because I feel like the Hermit has a very resemblance to this lunation cycle, to this full moon in Gemini. Because if you think about the Hermit in tarot, he has a lantern, right? And it's dark, and he's on his journey. And he's also wise, and he's also has this knowledge that is guiding him. So knowledge and wisdom and guidance is Sagittarius, right? And it's that lantern that he holds through the dark that is his guidance, right? But what the dark represents is all the unknown that he hasn't explored yet, right? Sagittarius rules exploring. But he does have the wisdom and the guidance and the understanding, and he does know where the top of the mountain is. It's just a little bit dark, maybe a little bit foggy, but he has this lantern that illuminates his next steps, and that lantern represents the wisdom and the intelligence that shows him his next steps, and that's what he focuses on, is the next step. And I think that's something to take into consideration, especially with the Mercury squaring Neptune thing, right? The fog is there. We're the Hermit with the lantern. We know where we're going. We already know. We have our wisdom. We've learned. We understand that we're on a journey and an adventure. And it's just about going through that experience of the adventure and finally getting to the light that we have been seeing in the distance. Whether there's fog, whether it's raining, whether it's confusing, we still can see the light. It's just like if we're trying to use our intellect to understand everything, right? It can be misleading, and you may get lost or you may get detracted, but you're not really lost though. You're not really lost because that light is still there beaming in the distance. And there's another thing I want to talk about with this full moon, is that Venus making its kind of in conjunction here to Uranus, right? And Taurus. Now Taurus, the dispositor of Taurus is also Venus, and the dispositor of Libra is also Venus, and Venus is in Libra. And Uranus deals with that spontaneous urge to move outside of convention, right? To move outside of the familiar, the safe, secure place, right? To move outside the classroom and into the world. But I think this in conjunction, there's a kind of something that we need to confirm with ourselves here, is what our values are, the life that we want to create that's prosperous towards, what's true for us, our values, what we want to go about and how we want to go about creating our life that's more prosperous, more harmonious, more pleasureful, and starting to let go of like these old attachments to past values or relationships or anything that we once valued kind of before but isn't serving us anymore in our spiritual destiny with the nodal points here. So it's quite a different video from the ones I've done before, but I feel like flowing with this one because I kind of feel like how this lunation cycle is in a way. And so this is about having faith, going on the adventure, being excited with the adventure that's unfolding, even though it's foggy and you don't know what you'll come across and all that type of stuff. But everything will be an experience for you to learn from, and then you can take it with you as you go on your journey to the light that's beaming in the background that you're trying to merge with. So that's what I got for this video. Thank you all for watching. Hope everybody had a great holiday. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate happy Thanksgiving, I just wish everybody happy holidays, and just wish everybody out there love as well. But I'm gonna leave this video here. Thank you all again for watching, Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Also, click the notification button bell as well. You'll get notified whenever I upload videos. And if you like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up for me, please. And last thing, if you want to book a personal reading with me, but it's a tarot reading, personal tarot reading with me, I'll put that link down below in the description. I'd love to do a reading if you want one. They're actually on sale too. And yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all later.